Hey curl friends, and welcome back to another natural hair tutorial. For today's video, I'm giving mom some feed-in stitch braids on her natural hair. We're going to start off with our prep steps. We want to prep our hair as well as our scalp. That way we have a nice moisturized base to start braiding on. You want to go ahead and eliminate as much dryness and tangles prior to braiding versus after. This is going to be like one of the key components to having a long-lasting natural hair protective style. Mom suffers from really bad dandruff in her scalp, and she has to wash her hair often, so we wanted to make sure that we were doing this on freshly clean hair. I oiled her scalp prior to, and I went ahead and detangled her curls. That way it's easier to braid. I'm not yanking or tugging at her hair, making her uncomfortable. We're going to go ahead and section off the hair for even parts. If you're brand new at braiding and you struggle with ending up at the back of the head with less hair than the front head, this will be really helpful for you guys. I know I struggled with that when I first started learning how to braid. So I love going ahead and just sectioning off the hair prior to braiding. That way you just go ahead and just braid as you go. You don't have to worry about running out of hair at the back or your braids being uneven. You're able to see everything before you start braiding. I'm just using these Goody hair elastics. They are ouchless elastics, so they are not uncomfortable to wear at all. And I'm just separating all of the sections. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the left side. Detangle that section again to make sure that everything is nice and detangled. And I'm going to go ahead and start basing down the braid with a holding product of choice. I am trying out today for the first time this Murray's Edge Wax, and I got the maximum hold. And when I tell y'all that this thing holds, like, this thing holds, I'm absolutely in love. I actually saw a couple girls recommend this on YouTube here as well, so I wanted to go ahead and give it a try. Next time I think I'll use less than I used in this video, but it still came out pretty nice. Everything melted into place, but I'm pretty much just going to base the braid with this edge control, this edge wax, and it's going to allow me to be able to stitch the braids in other words, grip those sections a lot easier than some flaky gel. I'm also trying out this new hair. It's from Spectra and it's the Easy Braid. This was a 3-pack. I got it for about $6.99 in my local beauty supply. It's itch-free, pre-feathered, so the ends are not straight and blunt across, and it's also antibacterial, so it should not itch at all. If you're a beginner braider, you'll want to learn how to cornrow first, then feed in braid, then move on to this tutorial. So I'll have those videos linked on the right of your screen as we speak right now. But I'm starting off with her own natural hair, and for the stitches I'm pretty much just using my nails to create these small sections. You want to make sure that the sections match on either side whenever you're gripping hair to pretty much cornrow down to the scalp. And this is pretty much how you create that stitch. You want to make sure that you're not just grabbing random hair like we usually do when we cornrow. We're actually just sectioning off a small slither of hair to create that stitch. And I'm feeding in the braiding hair once I get a nice good grip of her natural hair. So this technique is probably one of the easiest of all time. The only thing with this technique is you'll want to go as slow as possible. Slow and steady does it. On my wrist or on the top of my hand, I'm using some Shine and Jam, and I'm pretty much just using this for a slip. I want to allow the hair to pretty much slip through my hands a lot easier, not as frizzy and messy. It pretty much just like smooths down the hair as I'm braiding. And like I said, you want to make sure that you're taking your time with this, going from section to section, and pretty much just using your nails, or you could use the end of a rat tail comb to guide a nice straight part across. And those are the only bits of hair that you're going to grab instead of just grabbing freewheelingly like you usually do with a cornrow braid. As far as mom's hair, I started off on stretched hair. She went ahead and had some plaits, I believe, in her head for about a week or so. We washed her hair and then we put some twists in her hair the night before so that whenever we take it down, it's nice and stretched. I could pretty much just comb out the curls. So this is pretty much what is making this entire hairstyle so easy to achieve without any heat or blow drying of her natural hair. To stretch it, we stretched it overnight. As you guys can see here, I'm using the end of a rat tail comb to start off the braid as an example. And then for the next section, I'm going to grab a nice straight and even line of hair to create the next stitch. Once you get a really good grip of the hair, you want to go ahead and feed in the extension. The edge wax makes it a lot easier to grip the hair in those sections because it gives the hair a little bit more like a toughness to the hair. It allows everything to pretty much stick. So whatever you grab, it's going to stick together because it's like a waxy texture. It's very waxy. But we're going to go ahead and melt that down if you guys are worried about it leaving any kind of white residue or anything like that. This is a non-flake formula, so it definitely does not leave any kind of white flaking behind. We're just going to melt everything into place with a blow dryer as the final step. As far as feeding in the hair, you want to make sure that you're adding enough hair to hide the natural poofiness of the hair, and use the jam to smooth everything down. A spray bottle with some water will definitely do the trick as well. You just want to make sure this is as neat and nice as possible so that whenever you're ready to wear this long term, you don't really have issues with frizzing. The first two braids are complete, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next side. Her hair already started to revert and curl back up, so I went ahead and used some leave-in detangler to spray onto her hair and use a paddle brush pretty much to detangle everything and make it nice and manageable so that we can go ahead and finish braiding. This happens quite often when dealing with natural hair in its natural state and not like a blow-dried state, but it's totally fine. Don't panic. Just go ahead and detangle everything and finish your braid. On the side, I have my braiding hair sectioned off from smallest to largest. I'm feeding in the smallest or thinnest strands of hair towards the front of her head, and towards the back I'm getting thicker and thicker, just like your own natural hair would be. If you were to cornrow it, the front will be a lot thinner than what the back would be because you have more hair in your hand as you head towards the back or the nape of your head. This is what's going to give you that natural look. It won't look like it's any kind of extension hair. It'll look just like your own. So we're pretty much complete. I'm just going back in with a mousse of my choice. This is from Lotta Body. It's their styling setting mousse. I'm just going to mousse down her entire head, put a scarf on, double tie it down, and then we're going to hit it with the blow dryer for about 10 minutes or so. Altogether, this took about a full hour to an hour and a half, including like the blow drying time. But it pretty much allows all of the wax, the edge wax that we use, to melt down into place. It won't give like a greasy effect at the end. And the shine-in gem will also set into place because it's nice and tied down, which is going to hide away any frizzies or mistakes that you made, leaving any kind of hair out. And this is the final product. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's tutorial and enjoyed these stitch feed-in braids. I personally love them. I think they're super cute and very artistic and creative looking. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Love you guys.
It's just something about your hair, man. I'm in love with it. The way it feels, the way it shines. I love your natural hair.
I love my natural body of a goddess and it's natural. Love it when you wear your hair natural. Gonna let your hair down. You know that it's going down. Your curls is your new crown. I'm loving your natural hair, girl. I'm loving your natural hair, girl. I'm loving your natural hair, girl. Baby girl, you're natural hair boss. Female Rick Ross. I'm in love with your style and you shine like gloss. Baby girl, you dripping in sauce. Yeah, I love the way you flow.